was good. That was very fast. That was not. Yep. So if you watch the intro, I'm going to look absolutely ridiculous. Thank you, Troy, in the background. Technical difficulties going on, but it's all good. It's how we do. Welcome back, my brothers and heads of Football Friday. We're gonna have a great fucking show today. I already know. How y'all doing?
Oh, I'm doing really good today. I'm doing really good today. I have some news. Just want to start off really, really hot. Um, so as you guys know, I play semi-pro football.
Mhm.
So there was a situation that arose before the season had started that ended up with me being released with the team that I have been working with all off season. So I go to one team that didn't work out. So I'm on this new team. Shout out to the North Bay Rattlers. Appreciate y'all boys. Last game, that was the first real kind of time they see me in the rotation, and tomorrow I'm starting. So,
That's
um,
how we do it out here.
yeah, ballers is gonna ball, guys. When you got talent, they will find you. So go ahead, man.
100%.
I like it. You
Yeah.
quoting Cam
See,
Newton over there. Cam Newton said the same thing.
Hello.
that's.
I'm not.
I mean,
Yeah. So you know how I'm doing. I'm still riding high from yesterday. Not from yesterday. From Wednesday night. We had a fire. We had a fire ass interview with Mr. Moolidge up there. That was amazing. I went back and watched it. I was like, yeah, this was lit. Ladies and gentlemen, looking forward to y'all checking that out. I'm looking forward to y'all checking out Mr. Mel next week. We're gonna be on and popping next week.
yeah. I jumped in the live right when it happened, but then I had some family issues, so I didn't get to watch it yet. I will watch it tonight. Um, I know it's gonna be dope. I know it's gonna be dope, and
Get your
I
popcorn
can't wait.
ready.
Yeah, and Mr. Oh, what's his name? Your goat. He's a fool. That's I saw him in the comments. So
Shout out to my boy, your goat,
he,
man.
he's a fool.
Senior 97 Moolidge.
Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Born in 1903. That's me.
Okay, so let's start off with some stuff. I was sitting this week and I was thinking about some different things to talk about, and then I was watching different shows and I started to come up with a theme, and I want to know what you guys thought about who should get more credit between wide receivers and quarterbacks when it comes to production.
That's a great
Okay.
question. That is a great question.
I'm gonna. I used to answer this question like I used to answer it more so like I used to answer it 50-50. Like I really did
Mhm.
because it depending on a few factors, right? Receivers, depending on what route you run, right? If you run the go route, it's all timing from the receiver and the quarterback. If it's a slant route, it's perfect
Yeah,
ball placement from the quarterback. Like, if you run a corner, a deep post, like it's like each route, it either benefits like the receiver has to do something perfect or the quarterback has to do something perfect. But I'm going to give it 60-40 in favor of the receiver because it's what happens after the catch that makes everything go crazy, right?
okay,
The touchdowns, the making the
right.
first guy miss, maybe making the second, third guy miss. Like it's because the quarterback doesn't control what Odell Beckham does when he takes a 5 yard slant and takes it 70 yards down the field and scores a touchdown.
Exactly. See, because so it came about. I was listening to a bunch of different shows here and there, and the conversation was, it's always who's the greater quarterback. Patrick Mahomes played with a top five receiver in Tyreek Hill, one of the greatest tight ends of all time, in Travis Kelsey. This quarterback played with this receiver. This one didn't play with no receivers, and who's actually a better quarterback? So my thing was, do the quarterbacks make the receivers? Do the receivers make the quarterbacks? Or is it just a happy pot of gumbo between the two?
I think sometimes it can kind of depend, right? Like sometimes you have a quarterback that's just a freak athlete, superstar, and can put the ball in the right place, no matter if his receiver is fast, slow, can jump, can't jump. He's gonna get you the ball, right? But on the other side of it, you got these crazy, crazy athlete receivers that no matter what happens, they are literally telling the quarterback in the huddle, "Hey, throw it up." I got you. No matter where it is, no matter where you put it, no matter how you put it, I'm finna go get that joint. But there's another aspect to this, right? Because GQ said something earlier with the timing routes, right? A lot of it can be contributed to offenses and head coaches, right? Offensive coordinators, because sometimes when you have a young quarterback or a quarterback that's not really that proficient in some areas, right? Or a quarterback that still needs to develop, and you have a good receiver or you have a young receiver and they have to mesh chemistry, right? So a coordinator or a head coach can come out there and put a system together that literally makes these two guys look like superstars. When they're young, they really don't know what the hell they're doing yet, right?
Right.
So for me, it's like a 70-20-10 kind of thing, right? I'm putting 70 on the quarterback because he deals with the ball at the most at the end of the day. I'm putting the 20 on the receiver because sometimes, hey, they just make some crazy type of plays. And then 10% on the coaches, man, because sometimes they draw up a damn good game plan and can motion some screens, put some formations in, and just have people open just off GP. So
Yeah.
I think
It's
when you
funny
break
you
it down and look at it more in depth, there's more numbers that go into it.
right. It's funny you would say it like that because I kind of agree with both of you because, and I'll use an example. This is not Patrick Mahomes' hate before we even go there.
Somebody gonna take it that way.
Exactly. This is not Patrick Mahomes'
We
hate.
gonna clip this and already post it. It's all good.
And it's like, is because we've seen the Kansas City Chiefs offense work with Alex Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've seen it work. It was a very prolific offense. We've seen him work with kind of the same weapons as Patrick Mahomes. We've also seen the offense with Patrick Mahomes. We've also seen the offense with Chad Henne. We can say in all three that the offense worked to various degrees based on the talent of the person operating it, meaning the quarterback. But the offense was still efficient and it did what it needed to do, opposed to let me think of another. What would be another comparison on the opposite end of that?
A Jeff Fisher
Uh,
offense.
okay, boom. Prime example: Jeff Fisher and Sean McVay, and we saw the difference between Sean McVay having Jared Goff and Matthew Stafford. Same offense, same player. I mean, same personnel, different quarterbacks, totally different results.
Yeah, that
Cooper
Fisher
Cup,
was horrible.
Cooper Cup became an All-Pro wide receiver with Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, he was an afterthought in the old Rams offense. Like he was the third receiver until they got injury riddled one year, and all of a sudden Cooper Cup balled out until he jacked up his knee in like week
Mm-hmm.
16 or something like that,
Right,
if I remember correct. This is still
Yep.
the old Rams, not the Sean McVay, the
right.
old Rams. Cooper Cup been
The Jeff Fisher.
people forget Cooper Cup been in the league for a little minute. Like
Mm-hmm.
Right.
he ain't new to this.
Yeah. Right
No.
out of Eastern Washington, man. Yeah.
So then I guess we can say it is part coaching, part quarterback, part wide receiver. I guess pending the situation, the ratio of where it goes
Definitely.
can fluctuate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Depending on
look
who
at San
your guy
Francisco. San
is.
Francisco's your best example. San
Oh
Francisco
yes.
made a guy like Nate Mullins
Right.
relevant when he was an afterthought. But then just let's take this past year. Look at Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant,
Right.
became the
Mm-hmm.
most relevant quarterback in the NFL after
Right.
Literally.
like literally became the most relevant quarterback and damn near took the Niners all the way back to what they're accustomed to. Like
Mm-hmm.
every quarterback that they've had a carousel. Like no team has rebounded better from quarterback injuries than San Francisco. Like nobody.
So when we say in the San Francisco offense, the ratio we would go maybe 60% Kyle Shanahan.
Yep.
Yeah.
That'll
Yeah.
make a lot of sense,
That
honestly.
would
Yeah.
probably be 60. I'd probably go 60-20-20
Yep. That
realistically
honestly.
because it all
Okay.
comes they've had a revolving door of running backs. They've had a
Mhm.
revolving door of receivers. So it's I'd say 60-20-20 with San Francisco. It's probably the only outlier in the NFL.
Yeah,
Right.
honestly,
Where you would lean offensive coordinator is the well, that was kind of my thing with Kansas City. Would we I would say I was making the point of I would say it's more so the offensive coordinator than the quarterback because we had evidence that it works with multiple different quarterbacks. Now it doesn't work the same. Like it got better with Patrick Mahomes, 100%.
absolutely.
Yeah,
But
with Kansas
we
City is probably 50-30-20.
right, yeah, we're not going to act
Oh
as if
yeah,
you know Alex Smith didn't go 14-2 with the exact same thing.
oh yeah, absolutely. And there was a lot,
Yeah.
and everything that everybody says about Alex Smith should really show people just how proficient Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy were as play callers, right? Like I
Mhm.
get Patrick Mahomes is this transcendent throw of the ball, right? Like I understand the type of player Patrick Mahomes is, but when you're giving him all of the credit when you see, or when people like us, when we see the in-depth things that are going into this type of offense that's making it go or making it flow the way it's flowing, it hits different. So when people are saying, oh no, that's Patrick Mahomes, he's the greatest, and it's like, well, chill out, because Patrick Mahomes ain't out there calling his own plays, bro. Like he's getting the
Right.
play from the sideline. Somebody's
Yeah.
drawing that up.
Well, think
So
about it like
Yep.
this too. When there are very few times that Patrick Mahomes has gone down and they've thrown in Chad Henne, the offense doesn't miss a beat.
Right.
at
The
all.
game doesn't change. You're like, Chad Henne's in. We can start rushing more.
They
No,
don't.
the fuck you
They don't.
can't.
No.
Hmm.
No.
That's what
Because
they think.
Chad
Oh,
Henne,
that's what they
Chad
think.
Henne, because people forget, like I guess people just forget how efficient of a quarterback Chad Henne was. Like,
He
yeah, I
went to
understand he's a
Michigan, so I
backup
know
now,
everything.
but he had a good run with the Dolphins. Like he was a slightly above average NFL quarterback. With the right system, he does exactly what you saw in Kansas City.
Yep.
So
Right.
again, that's why so here's another outlier where the coach has more credit than arguably the talent. And that's not a shot at
Exactly.
Patrick Mahomes. It's just
No, that's why I said it's just
look at the system.
Yeah.
right.
Look at the system.
Because like with the Rams, you can make the argument that Sean McVay is the majority. Like Sean McVay might actually be 70, maybe even 80. Because he
Right.
took
Yeah.
Jared Goff to the Super Bowl, and he took Matthew Stafford and won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But
And
Right.
those are
everybody was.
two different styles of quarterback. Both of them went to the Super Bowl. Jared Goff couldn't get the job done. Matthew Stafford did.
Yep.
Same
That's
weapons.
true.
The weapons didn't change except you added Odell Beckham. That was the biggest Well, Odell Beckham and Von Miller, your biggest differences,
Hmm.
because
True.
everything else was the same.
Yep.
Yep.
That's
So
true.
that
And
in that
everybody
similar
remembers the narrative
situation, yeah,
behind Matthew Stafford at the time.
yeah.
So
But
And
see,
then
and that's the
also,
thing. Like Matthew Stafford gets forgotten about because he was doing a lot of the throws Mahomes was doing before Mahomes was doing these throws.
yeah.
Like
And
Matthew Stafford has a
all of
great
this
arm.
a tremendous arm. Like all this is going to make sense. I constructed this doc very well today, so everything that we're talking about is going to make total sense by the end of the show. Um, so let's. I also want to bring it back. Same concept with the quarterbacks. I want to bring it to Aaron Rodgers now because we see Aaron Rodgers not complain about what he doesn't have in Green Bay, but then he takes everything that he had in Green Bay and wants to take it to the Jets. Doesn't make sense to me. Either he has weapons or he don't have weapons. Because you can't say he doesn't have weapons if he's taking all the weapons to the Jets. So is Aaron Rodgers the type of quarterback that we think he is? Well, I don't. Well, what they think he is. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is a top 5, 10 quarterback. I think he has the talent, but the talent never materialized in my eyes. What he said? What happened? All I saw was Raiders. What was that? Keith? You know what?
oh my gosh,
Listen,
bro.
hey, you lucky you became a great part of this show, Mr. Yago. Shout out to you in the comments. And
Oh
it's,
shoot. Shout out to my boy, your goat, man.
Clowning,
Oh
yeah,
straight
man,
clowning.
goodness
But
gracious. Shout out to our
yes,
Spotify listeners, Google
yeah, but
listeners,
yeah,
iHeartRadio
I'm right
listeners,
there. Yeah, I'm
Apple
right there with
listeners.
you. With when it comes to Mr. Rogers, like you start playing with the all-time game. I don't have him in my top 5 personally. I just don't.
yeah, I don't.
Like you can't win this one random Super Bowl off of a great play, mind you. It was a great play. Like I'm not going to take that away from him, but as great as they push him to be, in this era where you must air the ball out, you have all this, you have all that. Why have you not been able to get a second? Maybe
He
even a
hasn't even
third?
gotten close. He's gotten
No.
close.
Well, the closest he got blew out by Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
He got exactly what he wanted. He wanted a home NFC Championship game, and Tom Brady smacked him.
Yep.
Well, the Buccaneers defense smacked him, but he's always had comparable weapons. They may not all be the household names that everybody's accustomed to, but there was a point in time where you knew who Jordy Nelson was. Like, you
Yeah.
knew who James Jones was. Like, you knew who these guys were. Like, there's no confusion there. You knew who Randall
Nope.
Cobb was at his heyday.
Yeah. Randall Cobb. There's a reason why he brought Randall Cobb back.
Yeah, like these guys aren't strangers to the game. Like he still, however you want to look at it, has had better overall weapons than some of the years that Tom Brady had.
By far. Easy.
Like Tom Brady was turning guys into relevance that would not have probably made rosters on some other teams.
I mean, we can argue Jordy Nelson, and I like Jordy Nelson, is probably outside of Randy Moss better than every receiver that Tom Brady's ever had.
Well, except maybe AB if you want to count that little bit of time he was with the Patriots.
I don't. Yeah, I don't count anything. I don't care. I don't count
But
AB in that.
yeah, but other than that, he had Deion Branch.
And
I mean, he had Troy Brown. He had Danny
he just had
Amendola, Julian
guys.
Edelman. He had guys. He had guys who could play. Like they could play. They're great role players. But again, we're talking star guys like Pro Bowl receivers.
Different dudes that can go out and make a difference on a play.
Now,
Yeah,
And
like his.
see,
he
with Aaron Rodgers, this is where this is the reason why that's a good question, Mel, right? Because with A Rod, it's different, right? Because you have to with him, it almost has to be the perfect situation, right? I
right.
don't think the narrative was that he never had any offensive weapons. He's always had weapons offensively, but the problem was, at least from what I understand, because I'm a huge Aaron Rodgers fan, right? Been an Aaron Rodgers fan since he was at Butte College. Um, it's always been defense, right? And you look at the last time he actually won the Super Bowl, what did he have? Had a great defense, right? That defense had Defense Player of the Year on it. And Charles Woodson, shout out to my boy Charles Woodson. But after that, he's never had a defense comparable, right?
But I can argue a lot of some of these teams didn't have great defenses. Like they still
True,
been like a lot of his offensive had just he hasn't produced in the playoffs offensively.
true. But this is where I was getting. This is where I was getting to, right? At that point, right, it becomes a coaching game, right? It has to come down to the coaching game at that point because you have to put pieces in places that you feel are going to succeed. You have to come up with a specific game plan, regardless of the fact of who's across the field.
Mhm.
So, just looking at Aaron Rodgers, and you go back to that Bucks loss, right? When you really look at what happened, Matt LaFleur took the ball out of Aaron Rodgers' hands. You're supposed to give him the ball. Let your MVP quarterback handle that.
Well,
As a young,
he also threw 2 picks in
he
that
did.
game, like back to back.
I'm not going to take that away from it. Aaron Rodgers did not have the best game, but at the same time, when he starts to roll, and we know how when we know how Aaron Rodgers gets, when he starts to get on his little tyrants, right, and he starts to get rolling. At that point in time, you have to trust your MVP quarterback and give him the ball, right? You go to the next year, right? Him and Devontae Adams are virtually non-existent in that game against the Niners. They
That was
lose. They lose off
Well,
special. They lose off a
they
special
got
teams play.
yeah. Well, they got ran off the field in that game too. Like San Francisco ran all over
Absolutely,
that defense.
absolutely. So then, and that's the thing, right? So then you're complaining
but
about
what
defense. That
but
deep
what
that
was the
game
score of
was
that
a
game?
low. I was gonna say, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. You complain about defense, right? They go out and they get you some defensive pieces. That game was low scoring, and you lost off special teams because
Yep.
because at the end of the day, although Devontae Adams was open, you guys had beat them twice in the regular season, or beat them in the regular season. So you're thinking, oh, we got him now. We got him now. No, you don't, because now It's a low scoring game. Now Devontae is taken out of the game. Now Aaron Rodgers can't do much. What are we going to do? Right? This is when you start to look to your
That's
coach. What you're going to do, Matt LaFleur? Because now Kyle Shanahan has your number. He has your proverbial number, right?
mhm.
You're to the point where you can't do nothing. You're trying your best stuff. You're trying this stuff. You're trying new stuff. Nothing's working. Now, what are you going to do? Because now everybody's looking towards you, the head coach, the offensive coordinator, the guy who's supposed to be this young, innovative playoff player, offensive calling mind. Hey,
Mhm.
so what you gonna call, my guy? Because in the regular season, you was big and bad and all on the sideline with hooping and hollering and I finally got my win against San Francisco. Are you gonna do what it
which,
matters?
which is perfect segue into my next question. Has the NFL killed the running back?
It all, almost,
Yeah,
almost.
almost. Like the running back is like teetering off the cliff at this point.
I'm gonna tell you who momentarily saved it. Derrick Henry momentarily saved it before Derrick Henry hurt his foot and he was out for the majority of that season. You've seen a lot more coaches, you've seen a lot more teams really gravitate towards running the ball, establishing the ball, or establishing that run game first before starting to go into the play action, before starting to go into the deep drop back passes, right?
Mhm.
Now that Derrick Henry was out, you see a lot more. They're starting to go into a lot more pass plays. They're starting to go implicate a lot more pass catching running backs, right? But when Derrick Henry was in the league, was when he was at his peak, and he's still a great running back. I'm not going to take anything away from him because he still
Mhm.
showed everybody that he's him after this past season. But when people knew that's what the Titans were doing because they really didn't have no receivers that was really going to blow the game open like that. But people knew they was going to give it to that big number 2 right there or whatever number he wearing right
Mhm.
now. And you ain't gonna do nothing, bro. What you gonna do? It's coming
Okay,
all game, and
I think
I really respected that with Tennessee, bro, because it's like they really kind of brought back that early
what
'90s, late '90s
because
feeling where the running back was really him. You feel me?
because what Tennessee did is what shout out Brian Billick, who I think is one of the greatest head coaches I've ever been
Oh yeah.
around. Brian Billick was actually questioned one time. This was a couple years ago, and he was like, "If you were coaching today, how would you operate your offense?" And I got the idea from him and my uncle runs the we have a football team in New York, New York Rebels. We won 7 championships, by the way, so we kind of know what we're doing.
You said kiss the
When
rings.
team kiss the rings, and based off of how this current NFL is operating with the spread offenses, the defenses had to adjust. So you get the smaller linebackers, the quicker defensive linemen. They're not as big, they're not as stout as they once were. But the tight ends are still the same size, but they're more athletic. So what he and I did this, and my uncle did this. I coach even when I was coaching my little league team. I would go 11 personnel. I put 2 tight ends on the field, and I would run the ball. I would force you to get out of your speed defense
hmm
because you got a lot of small people on the field now. And if I was coaching in the NFL, that would be my goal. Like I would get. This is why having a running back like a Nick Chubb, a Ezekiel Elliott, a Derrick Henry, a Josh Jacobs, these bigger guys, you have to understand that maybe the first quarter and a half, 2 quarters, they're not going to really put up big numbers for you. They're not. But it's that third and fourth quarter. If you're consistent, by the time you get to his 24th, 25th carry, that's when the offensive line gets to leaning on the defense. And that's what I watched the Tennessee Titans. They were down 24 points, and they never stopped running the ball. And they came back and won the game because they stuck to the game plan. And I think with a lot of these safeties coming down to play linebacker, and you got smaller, quicker linebackers playing on the edges, well, you just put big bodies on. Put big bodies. Save your quarterback. Aaron Rodgers, some of these quarterbacks, it's a lot easier to throw the ball when there's not 8 people in coverage. You can find windows to put the ball. Some of the best teams that throw the ball, they actually run the ball pretty good.
The
That's true.
Eagles last year,
Yep, the Eagles last year.
and
Yep.
they had 2 damn good receivers on the outside too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And
you
when you look at it, see, and this always I always go back to my point, man, with the Dallas Cowboys, because when you run the ball 90% of the time, you win the game. So what does that tell you, Kellen Moore?
run the ball.
Run the
Run the ball.
damn ball, okay? Like Sandra Bullock said on The Blind Side, Coach, run the dang ball, okay? Run the chat him on the phone. Hey, run the dang ball.
This,
All right, got my son out there, 6 everything, 3 everything, and he's out here run the ball, okay? See, I'm an
that's it.
advocate, Mel. I am an advocate for running the ball. All right, you can have the best receivers, you can have the best DBs, you can have the best pass blocking O line. I don't care. Guess what? We finna run this goddamn ball today.
I
That's
have
what we
zero
finna do.
problem with running backs getting a bag. I don't know why we're not. If you have a generational running back, it's one thing. Okay, just like we have tiers for every position, you have tiers for running backs. There is a top tier of a running back, and they deserve to get paid. They do.
Yep.
Exactly.
I don't have a problem with it.
100%.
If I'm an owner, I have zero problem. Like, listen, if I drafted a guy like Austin Eckler, the reason I bring him up because guys like Austin Eckler, guys like Christian McCaffrey, guys like Alvin Kamara, those are the future of NFL running backs. Like those styles of running backs. Like
Yep.
Austin Eckler is the bigger of the 3, but he can run between the tackles and bust your ass, or he can line up in the slot and run a route and also bust your ass. Alvin Kamara is a smaller running back. He's not terrible between the tackles, but he's just effective enough to keep a defense honest.
Right.
You know, and that's why I'm a big fan of Bijan Robinson coming out of the draft. He's another one of those guys. He's built like kind of like an Austin Eckler type, where he can bust your ass between the tackles, but catch him in space and see what happens. If you notice, we talking about Derrick Henry. In the last 5 years, Derrick Henry started catching the ball more.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want that big freight train catching the ball on a swing route. And
Exactly.
As a
I'm
6
not-
foot tall, 180-pound corner trying to go tackle him, I'm finna get stiff arm and knocked out of bounds.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But that's what the NFL is going towards, and it's still not bad. It's a different type of running back. We won't have these big bowling balls. You'll have them every now and again, but it's going to be more of this hybrid style of a running back that's going to be the new running back. And I still believe they should get their bag. They should get paid middle of the wide receiver market money, which to me is that 15 to 18 range.
So
Yeah.
this would be my next question. If you are a high school running back,
Yep.
you're about to go to college, do you make the switch?
No. I make sure my hands are good. I make sure that I can catch the ball out of the backfield effectively and I can make people miss and get yards after catch.
I would, if I was coaching, I mean, one, I would never tell a running back to switch, but if I was talking to a kid that was super talented as a running back, let's say he's 6 feet, 190, elusive, he can catch it, hit, run off tackle. I would probably lean to him. You probably should be a slot receiver in the sense of you end up you'll have more impact from the slot playing receiver because one, I can still get you out on the edge on jet sweeps. I can get you in space because you're an elusive guy. I just need you to catch, work on your routes, do those types of things because you end up being more valuable to the offense in the slot than you would at running back. Just based off of the trajectory of the offenses in the NFL.
Fair
I
enough.
guess it would depend.
I understand that point.
I guess it would depend on body type, right? Because if you have a more taller, kind of slender,
yeah, that's why I
190,
said if he's 6 foot 190,
I
like
would more lean to him more probably playing in the slot, right? Because I can use that in a different way, just like you said, Mel. But I'm really not like you said, I'm really not a fan of people switching. I just feel like the way I'm gonna draw up a game plan, I'm gonna get you the ball, right? Like I'm gonna give my athletes the ball. I'm gonna get my athletes in space. I'm gonna do whatever I have to do to make sure that my athletes have their opportunities to work, right?
but that's the thing. It's like you're saying athletes, but think about what they're saying. we'll take Bijan Robinson as case study number one. Everybody has him as a top five talent in the draft offensively,
Hmm.
but most people are saying that you shouldn't draft him until the third round.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah, and unfortunately, the reason I say unfortunately is because current statistics have proven you do not have to draft a running back in the first 2 rounds to find success, and
But that's what. But now,
that's what's hurt the running backs,
Yeah,
and
and
it's
that's what I'm
exactly.
saying is like.
yeah,
But that's what I'm saying. If I was, that's why I said that same kid, Bijan. If Bijan Robinson was a slot receiver, he'd go in the first three picks.
Oh, for sure.
See how
For
different
sure.
that is? That's crazy.
Yep.
Look, all it took was they changed the
They changed his
RB to
position.
a WR, and now he's a top five pick.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same. It's the same player.
Mm-hmm. Same thing. It's crazy though, because yeah, they're starting to devalue the running back position,
yeah.
and
Because I mean, you got to remember
honestly, it sucks.
yeah, yeah. And there was a point in time where when you saw the upcoming draft, you're like, I could see 5 running backs going in the first round. Like there was a
Exactly.
point in
You
time
don't
Yep.
see it no more.
when you had yeah, like there was a point in time when you had like let's take Georgia for example. You had Sony Michelle, you had Todd Gurley, and you had Nick Chubb on the same team.
All
Mm-hmm.
of the same team.
Like that's ignorant. That is ignorant as hell. And you think about hindsight being 2020, Todd Gurley changed the game for what the Rams are doing at one point in time. Obviously, Nick Chubb is Mr. Consistent. He's just like Derrick Henry. He's gonna keep leaning on you,
Mhm.
leaning on you, leaning on you. And then by carry, like Mool already said, by carry 22, 24, there he go gashing you for 15, 20 plus down the field.
Yep.
Sony Michelle was just hindered by injuries, but he had a run that wasn't too bad either. But I mean, Alabama at one point was rolling running
Yep.
backs out.
Same thing.
Right.
Like,
All
I
of
mean, like,
look at all the running
Same
backs. You
thing.
had Mark Ingram, Derrick
yeah,
Henry, Bo Scarborough, Trent Richardson, um,
Josh Jacobs,
Josh
Najee
Jacobs,
Harris,
yeah,
Najee Harris.
um,
Like,
um,
dude,
Kenyon,
Kenyon
Kenyon,
Barner,
Kenjon
no,
Bonner.
Kenyon Drake.
Kenyon Drake,
There
Kenyon
was,
Drake.
and they were all damn near on the same team all at one damn time. Like it was literally back to back to back to back to back to back to back. Like it's
Because
all in a line, every single one.
don't we find it kind of, and I know it's two totally different games, but it's kind of weird that they used to say the college game was totally different from the NFL, but now the NFL is playing like college used to, but college is playing how the NFL used to.
Yep.
Yeah,
Because
I mean,
the running backs are more important in college football than they are in the NFL.
yeah, because
Yep.
remember there was a point in time guys like Reggie Bush, guys like Adrian Peterson, like you were like, oh yeah, that guy's going in the first 10 picks. Like you can't let a
Easily.
guy like that drop. You can't
Easily.
because of what they did in college. There was no way Adrian Peterson was going to be a third round running back. Hell no.
No, it's stupid. Like stupid. Like you would never do
I
that.
No.
don't think Adrian Peterson now, if he was coming out of this year's draft, I don't think he would be a third round running back. I still think somebody takes him in the first round.
You think so?
Because
I don't think so.
because he was that talented. Because he's a hybrid. He's one of those. He could also catch the ball out of the backfield and be extremely successful. I felt the same about Reggie Bush. Reggie Bush would have been better coming into the NFL now than when he did come into the NFL at the time
Absolutely.
because of
Yeah.
his skill set.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But it's also to me the way that they look at the run because they're very quick to put an age barrier on a running back. Oh, he's only got 5 years in the league. Adrian Peterson blew his knee out and came back just as good as he did when he left.
He came back in 9 months.
Like if you just look at the running backs, like the running backs, they're good. Like we'll get to Saquon Barkley in a minute, but the fact that the Giants aren't willing to pay him is ridiculous to me. You're not going to find another Saquon Barkley. You're not going to do that.
No, and that's why I said I feel like just like with every other position, there's tiers. If you draft a tier 1 running back, that tier 1 running back should make the bag.
Absolutely.
Like I have no problem
Right.
with that. Like your guys like your Isaiah Pacheco's and stuff like that. Those are second, maybe third tier type of running backs.
Mhm.
They'll get a comparable bag, but they're not going to get the bag that the tier 1s get. Not the Derrick Henrys, not the Dalvin Cooks, not the Christian McCaffreys, not that bag.
Mhm.
But
Right.
my only pushback with the entire thing that we've talked about today is I understand one part of it, the science behind it. The science behind it is when running backs come into the NFL, they have the most tread on their tires amongst all positions because they got beat up. They've been getting beat up since high school.
Since high school, or
Whereas
sometimes since
quarter-
Pop Warner.
yeah, like, quarterbacks are protected, receivers are protected, tight ends are protected. Every other position is not as battered. Running backs and linemen, they're banging every play. They're banging. Receivers and quarterbacks, it's not the case. So they have less
but they
tread
don't.
on the tires
But they
than the
don't
running back
limit.
does.
But they don't put the same limitations on offensive linemen that they do running back.
No, look what the Steelers did with Najee Harris his rookie year. He ran more than anybody. He led the league in rush and in touches by a large margin as a rookie. But then,
Which he should have.
he got there. No, but hindsight being 2020, if you give him that workload for 5 years, you've aged that running back 10 years because of the amount of workload, which is why a lot of teams go to the running back by committee, because you're running this guy into the dirt, but you don't even have the offensive line to help you produce. You see what I'm
See,
saying?
I
Like,
think it's
if
that.
you're
I think to me, I think it's. I think this is the. If you're going to give a running back, and this is me, just me watching the NFL and me looking at it. If there was a time for running backs to get 25 touches a game, this is the NFL to do it. They're not getting hit by 250-pound fucking Ray Lewis isn't hitting him every play.
No, there ain't that many of those anymore. Not those type of linebackers.
So so if you were going to give a running back 25 carries, dude, that middle linebacker is 220 pounds. The outside linebacker is 210. They might be fast as all hell, but they're the same size, if not smaller than the dude who's running the ball.
So Debo Samuel's break a lot of tackles.
Yeah, and you're not wrong. The difference, the biggest difference is, you're right. The linebackers and the edge players are not as big, but neither are the running backs. You got running backs being drafted at 5'9", 190 pounds. You don't have a lot of these 6'4", 245, Derrick Henry builds. There's not as many as there used to be, like early in the 2005 to
Look, but
2014,
look
give
at
or take.
yeah, but not. But look at it. I mean, yes, there are. Look at Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders is what 5'9", 215.
Give or take, yeah, something like that.
Yeah, around there.
Like that's why he can break so many tackles is because he's very compact, and
Yeah.
it's hard to hit him when you are the same size as he is. And a lot of the running backs look at a healthy Saquon Barkley probably had his best season last year. Like
I don't know. That's debatable
because
between that and his rookie year. That's debatable. His rookie
yeah,
year was pretty electric.
but even like a healthy look at his those two healthy seasons. Look at the numbers he put up. Josh Jacobs with the Raiders. Look at the number he put up last year when they finally was like, "Here, bro, take it home." Like when you get Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, when you got these types of backs, bro, just feed them,
Yeah.
beat up the
But
defense.
that starts up front. You have to have a comparable offensive line. You can't Barry Sanders these running backs anymore. Like, you can't give a big bag 25, 30 carries and your offensive line is ass. Like, Derrick Henry at one point, we forget at the beginning of his career was getting the ball and getting hit in the backfield and then getting up the field. But if you give
Yeah,
him a little bit more, just like a quarterback, give him a little bit more of we'll say a clean pocket for sake of this argument, or just give him a clean hole, let him get to that second level. Now you see what he can actually do. Whereas it said he got to knock off two linebackers in the backfield before he can get 4 or 5 yards. That's a lot of wear and tear early in the game.
but that's where this is where I said Derrick Henry is a different test subject because he didn't have weapons on the outside, so everybody could just boom. We got to
Yeah,
stop him. When you're playing against some of these teams, most of these teams got threats on the outside. So you can't. You have to. You got to. You can't just pack the box in. So that's why a Miles Sanders could do what he did. You got AJ Brown and Devontae Smith out there, and you still got the tight end. So you just can't. All right, well, we're just going to single up and then pack the box. Nope, because they're gonna beat your ass up outside. Like running backs averages are up because there's so much damn space.
yep.
And see,
So
this is why I was saying a few months back after the Eagles won or after the Eagles won the NFC Championship, I was like, look at how the offensive line and the running backs, every single running back averaged damn near 4 yards a carry. But look as to why though, right? When you have like you said, a smaller end, right? In I forgot his name. It's not Armstead, and it's not other dude on the other side. Um, when you have
Oh, you saw Greenlaw
and Greenlaw and
on the
on the Niners,
Shamir something. It's
yeah,
okay.
when you have smaller, faster type players, right,
Yeah, they're just safeties playing outside linebackers.
and
Yeah,
or linebackers playing D line, right,
yeah,
Mhm.
and they're going up against these bigger prototypical offensive linemen, and they're getting
yeah.
moved off the ball to the point where now it doesn't matter who you have in the backfield. We're going to kick his ass all day.
Right.
And
Yeah.
there's nothing that
Well,
anybody can do about it.
yeah.
And now because he's getting dominated, your middle linebackers and your safeties are getting compromised. So now it doesn't matter who I give the ball in the backfield. I'm guaranteed 4 yards.
Right. And then you would
Every
Well,
take and then
also in the
you
yeah, for the sake of the Eagles, everybody ain't got a Jason Kelsey who can literally snap the ball, swing left, knock that edge guy off, and then go drag that next linebacker on the next level for your running back to get sprung 15 yards.
That's true,
Mhm.
but it's like look
Because
at
if you look at the film, like Jason Kelsey is one of the most important parts of that run game. Like
absolutely.
everybody's at
Yeah.
the center, like
Yeah.
Jason Kelsey, because you don't see big guys that are big like that can snap the ball and move that fast off of like lateral movement, damn near.
But
Oh
then
yeah, for
and
sure.
then
His hip work
but
is
then
crazy.
right, and then that kind of goes into this new breed of quarterback that we have because he's been there for a while. They just
Yep.
couldn't do the things that actually makes him an awesome offensive lineman. Like the fact that your center can snap the ball and lead on a toss play is ignorant. Like
Yeah.
that's ignorant.
Like your
So
guy in the middle
now,
of the field is getting to the outside before your running back. That is a beautiful thing. Like that's a work of art. For those who
right,
don't watch enough football, go watch some Eagles highlights and watch these offensive linemen how they flow. But it's Jason Kelsey leading the pack. Not the
Mm-hmm.
tight end,
yep,
it's Jason Kelsey who gets to that outside to knock that edge guy off. The tight end is knocking off that linebacker, so that running back has a one-on-one with a cornerback, which nine
right.
times out of 10, that running back's gonna win that matchup.
Yep. And when you have that aspect of it, and it's not just, okay, my tailback is doing this, but my quarterback. I got a 6'3", 225-pound quarterback that can move and break tackles.
Mm-hmm.
This is the whole, like, this is why to me the running game should be a way bigger, especially if you have a quarterback like a Lamar Jackson, like a Deshaun Watson, like a Jalen Hurts. Even look at what Daniel Jones. Now that he got a totally different offensive coordinator, he's allowed to use his legs more. It creates it creates another dynamic for that giant offense. Justin Herbert, dudes, you don't have to be super duper fast and super athletic, just enough that the defense has to worry about that.
Isn't it
You
amazing what you
know,
have when competence shows up?
yeah,
It's funny how that works when you have competent people in the right places.
yeah, because it's once you perfect segue into the next segment of this daggone show. Who's the greatest coach of all time?
You said what? One
Hmm.
more time. One more time. Say that
Who's the
again.
greatest coach of all time? This is a
It's
good one
hard.
because everybody, because it all depends on what you value as for a coach. For me, I like innovators. I like guys who think ahead of where they are. It's easy to, okay, that's the new trend. I'm gonna do that. It's a totally different thing when you're the guy who is like, I am going to do this and I'm going to make people adjust to what I'm doing. Bill Parcells to me, Bill Walsh, um, those guys. And look, I know Bill Belichick got all of the things. He has all of it, but he learned it from Bill Parcells. Just so
Everybody
everybody
has a Yoda.
knows,
Everybody has
right?
a Yoda. I say what I say,
So,
a Star Wars reference.
so for me, I think the Bill Parcells, the Bill Walshes, those guys will always sit on it, and Don Shula because this motherfucker was going five wide receivers in the
I was
'70s. When
I was waiting for you to say it. I was
I
like,
was waiting for you to give me a
is he
Don
not?
Shula, dog.
Is he
You
not
feel
gonna
me? I
say
was
Don
waiting for
Shula?
Big
Because if
Don,
he
man.
did,
yeah,
I will.
yeah. So yeah, like those for me, like those are my top three. If you can shake them up any way that you want. But I just like innovative, very. I'm gonna make you do what I want. Like when Bill Parcells started doing the daggone. Uh, I can't think of the name of it now. What was that shit that he did in Miami with the running backs?
The Wildcat.
Oh, the
Um,
Wildcat.
the Wildcat. Yeah, to bring that to the NFL was retarded because he realized he's like, I don't have a quarterback. Shout out to Marcus Vick because you screwed up your brother's name.
Hey, if you know, you know, but you had to be there. Goodness gracious, you had to be there. Oh my gosh.
I had so much hope for Marcus Vick, and he just didn't do it.
Everybody did. Everybody did. Everybody did. Literally everybody did. He was the talk of the damn world.
And then
And
ended up in
Didn't
jail.
work. Yeah. Thank you, Marcus,
you get the
for
bag and fumble it.
nothing. But
But
yeah.
if
So
I had to
tell me.
if I had to pick three, you have the first two, because I still hear Bill Parcells in my head as a kick returner, punt returner, right?
Mhm.
You know what I'm talking about, the classic Giants where he
Yep.
there's no way you should drop a damn punt. Get right under it, okay? You don't none of that. Right under it, all right? You track that thing in all the way down here, look it in, all right? You should never drop a punt or a kick. You get right under it, all right? Right under it,
No.
run it, wrap it. I never forgot that. I never ever dropped a
Nope.
punt, kickoff ever, okay? Because I
Nope.
remembered that from Bill Parcells. Of course, come on now. You got to go Bill Walsh. I mean, shout out to College of San Mateo. You know what I'm saying? My Bulldogs. Shout out to the Bay Area. But I'm going to bring out another Bulldog on you guys because it's Friday. You know what I'm saying? I got to give some shout outs to my alma mater, man. So my 2-year man. So John Madden,
Yeah.
Max Madden.
Definitely.
That
Definitely.
was literally one of my favorite coaches of all time. The game plans that he came with, the like you said, Mel, innovativeness. Even when he took his talents into the broadcast booth with teaching the
Yep.
game as you're announcing the game, bro. Like that's different. You don't see that a lot now, right? Like
Yep.
you see it with Tony Romo a little bit, and I give Tony Romo his credit because I always say this: he's a better announcer than he was football player. I always say that just to give Dallas Cowboy fans flack,
Mhm.
but like to break down a game live while a game is happening. Like he's calling the game and then he's breaking down the game. All right, so boom, you got the running back and boom, receiver, boom. Like that is absolutely legendary, bro. And for him to do that and take his talents of coaching and teaching the game and basically use it in other aspects is
Yep.
yeah, it was absolutely legendary.
No,
Don
definitely top
Shula, of
five for
course,
me.
is gonna be on my list. You know what I'm saying? And then yeah, that's what I had. You know what I'm saying? I just had to throw those guys in there because yeah, those legendary, man,
Yep.
legendary, absolutely.
No, I'm with it. We have a lot of similarities on our list. Of course, like I said, it wouldn't be a complete list without Bill Parcells and Bill Walsh. Like you just have to. It just doesn't work
Right.
without that. Of course, like I said, I had Don Shula just because even though it's hard for me to say that, being the Patriots fan I don't fuck with the Dolphins, but respect where respect is due. All right. I will
Right.
also give a shout out to Coach Shula because if you've ever traveled to Disney World out in Florida, that is one of the best steakhouses in Florida. It's
Oh
Shula's
yeah.
Steakhouse on Disney's
Yep.
property. I went there for my birthday. Holy shit. Phenomenal steak. I had a cowboy sirloin that was, when I say, I'm talking about, all they put on
Hmm.
that mug was some sea salt and some pepper. And that mug was, so there's something, but, and like I said, I'm going to go ahead and complete my Mount Rushmore, and I'm going to put Bill Belichick on there simply because
Of course.
he was built obviously from, the Parcells tree, but he was built from failure.
Yeah,
He
Right.
wasn't built from
No, no,
success.
100%.
He started off as a failing coach, as a coach who could not win.
yep.
But we
And
don't blame
then
him for that because
no,
Brown suck.
but we don't know. We as the football aficionados that we are do not. But the casual fan will be like, oh, but he was terrible in Cleveland. Oh, he left the Jets high and dry. Oh, he's been trashed without Brady. I was like, listen, he took over a Patriots team that had Pete Carroll as the coach and then had some phenomenal drafts and built that defense through the draft and a couple of free agents, and then boom, sparks what we had for the last 20 years. And then, we know what happened. It's a run that will not be duplicated. I don't see another franchise doing it anytime soon. I may be an old man by the next time another dynasty like that is built. So that's why I have to put him in that Mount Rushmore, because that dynasty has damn near outlasted some great talent and great teams. Like what the Patriots did is the same thing that Michael Jordan did for a while. He stopped a lot of great players from winning rings because they couldn't get past him. Because they couldn't get past. That's what happened. Same thing with LeBron. LeBron stopped a good amount of people from doing it. The Patriots stopped a lot of really talented football teams from winning the Super Bowl. The Rams could have 2 Super Bowls right now. They could, but they lost to the Patriots. Mahomes could have 3, but Brady stopped him from doing that. Seattle could have had another one. The Patriots stopped him.
And we're not even going to talk about how many Peyton Manning can have.
And the Steelers and the Ravens. But they couldn't get past Tom Brady. The Jets might have beaten the Patriots twice in the playoffs, but they didn't finish the deal.
Yep.
Well, this is the only time and the last time we will ever mention LeBron James in the same breath as Michael Jordan and Tom Brady.
Oh, don't do that.
We'll never.
One more, because I like to bring all the sports together and bring one more. It's like when Tiger Woods went on his run. Tiger Woods stopped a lot of great golfers from winning because he dominated, just like the Williams sisters in tennis. Like that's where you put that. That's where those dynasties belong.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's true.
Except for LeBron James. So, speaking of dynasties and coming to fruition, my Washington Commanders have sold their team to, I forgot the guy's name. They put their $6.3 billion bid in to buy the Commanders. I think they took it. I think they're just going through paperwork to finalize it, which means Magic Johnson is now the proud owner of an NFL football team. And
Josh Harris.
This is Josh Harris. Yeah. Which kind of now I feel a little more confident Lamar's going to end up in Washington.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Because if you know anything about Sir Irving Magic Johnson, you should feel all the confidence in the world right now. Melvin Jackson the third. Okay, I don't even know if that's their name, but I'm gonna call you that today. Look, check this out. If you don't know the history of Sir Irving Magic Johnson, go look back and see everything that this man has touched literally turns to gold. When I say gold, I mean championship gold. Okay, the Lakers. He did it with the Sparks. He did it with the Dodgers. He's did it in soccer. Now that he's in football,
look, not to mention his shoe deal.
Not to mention his shoe deal. He's successful in business. He knows what he's doing. Book it. Yeah. The Washington Commanders will win a championship within the next 5 years. I promise you, it's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm feeling very well. I feel very confident that Lamar Jackson will be the head of said championship team.
It's going to happen.
It'll make the whole DMV area sick because it should have been Baltimore.
You heard it right here from the sideline live, 53-55 at 3:26 on April 14th on a Friday.
Yep.
Your boy Mooley from the sideline said your Washington Redskins is going to win a championship within the next 5 years. Watch. It's going to happen.
I'll do you one better. Just go roll back some of the tapes of some of our previous Inside the Huddle episodes. We have talked about going to Washington as one of the teams. We talked about that. We had a very in-depth conversation about that on top of that. Because it made the most sense, because the Washington Commanders are one of the most ready-made teams that need a quarterback to get over the hump.
Right now.
The weapons are there. Offensively, the weapons are there. Defensively, the weapons are there. They just don't have that dog at QB.
Mm-hmm. And they don't need, and at this point, they don't even need a draft picks. They don't need a draft picks. No, at this point, they don't need them.
And the way they've been drafting, adding more talent to that roster is
they've actually been hitting on their draft picks, which is very rare.
Yeah, this is exactly what Eric Bieniemy needs, is a guy like Lamar Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Because then two things are going to happen. two things are going to happen. We're going to see Eric Bieniemy do exactly what we believe he can do, which is be a good coach, probably a great coach. And then we get to see Lamar finally, how we've been talking about it. Lamar ain't had no comparable weapons since college, probably since high school. Let's be realistic.
Yep.
He probably had more household names in high school than he had in college and the pros. At one point, this man was throwing to Willie Snead.
Ooh, ain't that the truth?
That is all facts right there.
I mean, come on now. Like, Marquise Hollywood Brown is his most notable receiver.
Yep. Because you got rid of Deshaun Jackson after 2 weeks.
Yeah, like you tell me, like, give Lamar a chance. Give him Terry McLaurin. Give him Jahan Dotson. That run game elevates that entire team. That run game is gonna be stupid because they also like to use Jahan Dotson on them jet sweeps and stuff. You could realistically run a double option with Jahan Dotson and Lamar Jackson. Like you could.
Easy.
Realistically could, and it would be stupid. Like it would be you hand the ball off to Dotson while Lamar running, he pitch it back, and all of a sudden Terry McLaurin down the field, you throw that bitch down the field, you got a touchdown. Like that's the kind of stuff Eric Bieniemy can now draw up with a quarterback like Lamar at his disposal. And everybody else who doesn't watch film or didn't watch Lamar in college will get to see what kind of arm this guy truly has. And yeah, I'm talking to you, Big Ben. I'm talking about nobody fears Lamar. Joe Big. Like you was a good quarterback, Mr. 62% completion percentage for your career.
Hello.
Yeah, I was gonna get to him too
for a minute.
No, I was gonna get to him too. You good? Do you think?
That's crazy because I'm looking at it now, right? I'm looking at it now, right? Because I already had it pulled up. I didn't see the comment today, and I already had it pulled up. I had already looked at it, right? Because I've been going back and forth with these dumbass Steeler fans all day. So I'm Big Ben.
I've been hot. Because I'm like,
Big Ben, you got a whole lot to say.
Like you don't
I would stake my last 3 years of paychecks, switch Lamar Jackson and Ben Roethlisberger, and check out the career trajectory difference.
I can't guarantee this, but I can pretty much say the Steelers probably win 4 to 5 Super Bowls.
Yeah, because Ben Roethlisberger's had at least 7 Pro Bowl receivers, at least 7.
No, and that defense. And the defense.
Yeah. And Mike Tomlin.
So
I'm looking at it, right? Looking, you know what I'm saying? I had to pull it up. Career in the pocket, right? Because he was talking all of this big, what.
And it's like 62 versus 64 or something like that, ain't it?
Yeah. So
Lamar Jackson has a better rating inside the pocket than Big Ben.
Yeah. So
because Big Ben is an off-script quarterback.
Yeah. Quite literally, he's an off-script.
Big Ben is a fat-ass version of Aaron Rodgers. He has to improvise and get outside the pocket to make shit happen. Trust me, I'm a Patriots fan. I've seen enough Steelers football.
Yeah.
Trust me, I know.
Like, I'm a Raider fan. Trust me, I know too.
The biggest difference between Aaron Rodgers and Ben Roethlisberger is linebackers didn't want to tackle Big Ben because that's a big dude.
Yeah.
Right.
That's like going toe-to-toe with a refrigerator. Like, you might get hurt tackling Big Ben.
It's a 3-step drop, and you holding on the ball for 15 seconds. You don't know what you're doing.
Miss me with that. Like, yeah.
So,
yeah, I was like, Big Ben, how many MVPs you got, bro? Why you talking so loud?
I think he only has some Super Bowl MVPs, don't he? Just one? No,
and he shouldn't have had none, to be honest with you.
No, the very first Super Bowl that they got should have went to Drew. Should have been the bust. Should have got that Super Bowl MVP. But whatever.
Yeah. And Santonio Holmes should have got the fucking last one.
Absolutely should have got that one.
So
actually, he doesn't.
You're kidding.
I figured, he doesn't have a Super Bowl.
He's one of the only Super Bowl winning quarterbacks who don't have a Super Bowl.
He doesn't have Super Bowl MVP because you got to think about it. One of those Super Bowls that he won, Hines Ward was the MVP.
Right.
You're right.
You're right.
Yeah, he ain't got no Super Bowl MVP.
That was the first one. Hines Ward was Super Bowl MVP the first
one. Who won the second one? Was it James Harrison who won the second? Who won the second one?
Had to be.
I'm pretty sure.
James Harrison had one of the best plays in that game for sure.
Nope, you were right. It was Santonio Holmes.
Oh, Santonio Holmes did win. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, look at that.
He doesn't have a Super Bowl MVP at all.
About receivers versus quarterbacks. Big Ben's receivers were more important than the quarterback. Ain't that some shit?
Absolutely. His receivers are more important than the quarterback in all of his Super Bowl games.
One of the greatest blocking receivers in NFL history. He loved to knock people's heads off.
But you're
Shall
saying he's not
we?
in the Hall of Fame yet.
Man,
Did he go in
Shall
this year?
we?
The disrespect is unreal.
Shall we look at it, guys? Since we talking, right? Since we talking Big Ben, let's go ahead and look at it real quick. We're gonna break it down real quick. Would anybody care to tell me what Big Ben's passer rating was in that Super Bowl against the Seahawks? Just he was
Ooh,
so, you know what I'm saying?
ooh, I bet it was like a 87.
He's so proficient, right? Oh my God, Big Ben, he went 9 for 21, bro. 9 for
Oh
21,
wow.
a
My man put
22.6
up
passer rating.
that man
Oh
put up
wow.
Westbrook numbers in the Super Bowl.
He ain't thrown not
Don't
one
talk about
touchdown.
Russell. Don't do that to us.
He
I'm
ain't thrown
sorry.
out one touchdown. He threw 2 picks though, for sure. He for sure threw 2
Oh,
picks.
okay. So what you're saying is I would have lost my fantasy matchup if I started it.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Because the only
Okay.
person that actually threw a touchdown in that
Was it
game,
Hines Ward?
it was Antoine Randall. People were come
Okay,
on,
so
Antoine
it was
Randall
yeah,
L.
Randall.
I
yeah,
knew it was a receiver. I knew it was a
hmm
receiver. Okay.
yeah. So he
Ain't that
talking
some
all of
shit?
this big, you know what I'm saying? All of this big hoo ha. I'm just like, bro, I'm not really seeing the, I'm not really seeing the
No. There's
I'm not seeing it, bro. Like I'm not seeing the resume behind the mouth, bro. So you so
No,
loud,
no.
but you don't even have
I
a Super
mean,
Bowl MVP, nor do you have a regular season MVP.
I tell
So,
you one thing that Big Ben do better than Lamar Jackson:
oh yeah,
draw
most
allegations.
definitely. Oh, most
Do it.
definitely.
Don't get us canceled.
Oh, most definitely. I
That's
don't
why
want
I
to
just
say
said
it.
draw
I
allegations.
don't want
I
to
didn't say
say it,
nothing else.
but
I just said draw allegations.
we know some places that you frequent that Lamar don't frequent, big dog. So you might want to stay
The
quiet.
the original Deshaun Watson.
I was about to say
You
him
might
and
want to be
Deshaun might
quiet,
keep some
man.
similar company.
Yeah, you might want to be quiet, man, because should
Yeah.
we tell people what happened to your signing bonus after the Steelers signed you after that? No, oh,
I
okay,
think
yeah,
I
we want.
think I don't think we want to do
Like
that.
Oh yeah, nah,
okay. If anything, he probably had more. Well, he does. Excuse me, have more 4,000 plus yard seasons than Lamar because the weapons.
Yeah.
Again, the receivers. The receivers are the key here. Like
Give Lamar Jackson, Juju, and Antonio Brown. See what happens.
oh,
okay. So look,
Lamar throwing for 5,000 yards and he's rushing 4,000. I'm telling
all
you
right.
right
So
now.
look,
Yeah.
I would
look.
bet the
With
stake on that one.
with
Let me
Le'Veon Bell playing running back.
let me.
Le'Veon is a 1,000 yard rusher with that offense. Antonio Brown and Juju both 1,000 yard receivers, and Lamar probably gets another MVP if not two,
Easy.
and they go into the Super Bowl.
Easy.
Because you can let
Let
him
me.
keep. If
But
he had Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell, Juju Smith-Schuster, and he still had Mark Andrews, that's an unstoppable offense.
True.
Because
it's
I know
stupid.
Juju gets a bad rap, but Juju against people's number two corner is a dog. I'm sorry. Like most number
Yeah.
twos ain't finna stop Juju. Juju's still a big bodied receiver. He's still a good
Yeah.
receiver. It's just he blew
He
up in
can't.
Pittsburgh because Antonio Brown took so much attention off of him.
Yeah.
So he was able to do what he does what any complimentary receiver is supposed to do. He took advantage of the matchup.
Yep. Easy. And that's what the number two is supposed to do.
Yep. I just
100%.
want to go ahead and take
So
this time to say shout out to the chat, shout out to our iHeartRadio listeners, our Google Play listeners, our Apple Music listeners, our Spotify listeners. Shout out to the chat, to the comments, man. We see y'all. Shout out to my
yep.
big bro Mike, man. We see y'all. Appreciate y'all for being in the comments, man. I wanted to address something though for this. He said he wanted Lamar for the Niners, and don't sleep on that. Don't sleep on that.
Actually,
I'm not
I
saying it's
saw
gonna happen, but I've
I
been hearing
saw then
murmurs. I've been
they
hearing murmurs.
proposed a trade. I think this is I forgot his name. So I think it was Josh Bidwell. Forgot his name. I think it's Josh Bidwell. Forgot his name. But apparently, it's next year's first round, second round, and I think a fourth round. Brandon Ayuk, Trey Lance, and something else.
That's a huge trade package
Yeah.
because the Niners still got to pay him.
Right.
Yep.
And the way their
So
salary cap is currently set up,
I've been
even
hearing
if you
murmurs.
free up Brandon Ayuk's contract, it's still now here's the thing. We still don't truly know what Lamar is asking for as far as the total cost because he
mhm.
hasn't publicly said it.
Yeah,
There's
that's
all just
still up in the air.
speculation of what he wants, but I wouldn't be shocked if all of a sudden he really and truly did. It's fine. Look, if Lamar wants a fully guaranteed contract, cool. But
I
what if it's
think
only?
I think
But what if it's only like 150 mil guaranteed? Like what
I
if
just
it's
think he
that?
wants
Like
more. I just think he wants to be paid what he feels he's worth.
yeah, because
I think
the MVP alone is 100 mil. Fuck that.
I think in my opinion, I think he adjusts his payment based on the team. I think he's putting Baltimore's feet to the fire. But
Yeah,
I think if something did arise where he could go to like a San Francisco, I don't think he asks for the same thing. Just based on what he has around him and the opportunity that's going to present.
yeah. I mean, with that
Because
roster, hell, I'm not saying I'm gonna take a Brady type deal because Lamar still needs to get his bag because he's playing off a rookie deal.
yeah,
So I mean, he
he'll
still
get
needs
it.
to, but he needs to get
I think
paid.
he'll do it. Yeah, I think he'll still. I think if San Fran offered him the same 186, he'll take it because
Yeah.
Lamar winning a Super Bowl, he becomes a rock star.
Oh, without question.
Like he
Yep.
becomes a rock star. He becomes everything Michael Vick should have been in the 90s
Yep.
because
Yep.
And this stigma
Everybody loves
of
Lamar.
run first quarterbacks goes out the window. Even though
Yep.
I don't buy Lamar as a run first because people say that, but I'm like, do you realize who the coordinator for the Ravens is? Like at the time,
Look,
like his
Steve
offense was
Young won a Super
designed like
Bowl.
that.
Yeah, Steve Young done won a Super Bowl. Russell Wilson done won a Super Bowl.
Shout out to my boy, your goat, man.
Like we've seen mobile quarterbacks winning Super Bowls.
Yeah, I
Oh
mean Warren Moon won one too. I mean, he was
yeah,
look
no,
Doug
he didn't win a Super
Williams
Bowl.
Was a lot more mobile than people realized too at the
Shout
time.
out to my boy,
Since we
Dougie
we was
Yeah,
talking
Will.
about the Commanders, I had to make sure I throw Doug
yeah,
Williams in there too.
Shout out to
yeah. I
my
told
boy,
Doug Williams.
Dougie Will.
Like he had a great arm. He was a great pocket quarterback too. Like that's what's
Yeah,
crazy. The dude was
no, he
awesome
was
in the
a
pocket, but don't let that man get loose. Don't let that man
nah,
get loose.
Shout out to my
yeah.
boy,
So
Dougie Will, man.
and keeping it on Washington. So new details about the Dwayne Haskins situation, which is very shocking to me. I didn't expect anything like this to come out. So apparently his family is um accused. Not, they're just saying that he might have been drugged or he was drugged. And they're holding three different establishments accountable for this in an alleged blackmail scheme. It's crazy. I mean, this has gotten way more detailed and deeper than I would have ever imagined.
Now, when this first happened, I kind of thought like it's random, it's out of the blue, it's definitely weird, right? Because you don't necessarily hear about guys just in that type of situation, right? When especially when they're in the league. But um I don't know if there's any validity to it. I'm not gonna sit here and say that, that it's set in stone, but I think it's something to kind of look into. Like it's
Mhm.
just looking at the situation and where he was at and how he was found, and it's definitely
It,
weird, right? There's a
because
lot
it
of
doesn't
things
make
there's a lot of
sense.
questions.
It
Yeah,
didn't.
there's a lot
It
of
never
questions that
made
arise.
sense. It never made sense in the beginning on why he would be walking on the highway at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, like
It just
No,
never. It never made
100%.
sense to me.
I'm
I hope since this is out there like it is, I truly hope that there's a smoking gun somewhere
I hope so.
because it doesn't. Y'all are both 100% right. This what let's okay. Let me phrase this differently. I'm gonna throw a little color into this one. What
So
black
do it.
man
Do it.
What black man is
Exactly.
gonna walk their happy
come
ass
None.
on now,
across the freeway
come
at
on,
0.
6 o'clock in the morning,
come on,
Zero.
knowing
come
good
on,
and hell well that don't even make sense.
come on,
Rich, young,
Yeah,
black man.
come on,
like
come on.
I'm all for calling a spade, but come on now. Like
Exactly.
I don't think I've ever even seen a homeless black man walk across the freeway of all things. And I live in Houston. So I'm just saying, I know this from experience of seeing this. I ain't
Right.
never seen it.
Exactly. Me neither. And I'm from New York and I live in Vegas currently. And
And at the time, like wasn't he in like was he in Florida at the time?
he had just apparently
Yeah.
just left the workout.
Yeah.
Yep.
So first of all, Florida drivers are just as bad as Texas drivers. Ain't nobody running across no damn freeway in Florida. Not I
No,
10. Definitely not
no
I
way.
10. Ain't no way.
And on top of it, the type of vehicle that hit him, we're talking about a professional athlete. Why couldn't he get out the way?
Yeah. Even like quarterbacks dodge people all the time. Like, well, they try to. And
Yeah.
Haskins was Haskins was fairly mobile. He was mobile enough. Now, if he's seen that car, now even if he was in the right state of mind, right? Like if you catch that one random Dodge Charger that so happened to be going like 90, you're probably not going to get out the way of that.
Right.
But for the most part, like you're gonna hear it. Like you at least gonna hear it. First of all, even if I was to cross the freeway, I ain't finna have these AirPods in. I'm gonna make sure I hear and see everything.
Most people, you're looking like, okay, I see the traffic. There's a space. There's a gap about to hit. I'm off. At least that's how I do it.
We're not gonna walk across the freeway though. That's the thing. Like,
I mean, but we all played Frogger, so we all know how it go. We all played that same level. We waited for that gap in the cars. We could, real quick.
True. Yeah. But we're not playing Frogger in real life though. Like,
I don't know what the kids called it. They called that playing chicken.
Yeah, I don't that, and that's the thing, right? Because I don't.
Right.
Back in my day, that's not what we call chicken. You feel me? Like,
yeah, we had a different game for chicken.
Well, a whole different game. It was a different version. You know what I'm saying?
That involved two cars.
Yeah, I'm not gambling. I'm not gambling my life versus a 6,000 pound vehicle.
No,
like, we're not doing that. No, because ladies and gentlemen, let me educate y'all for those who don't really understand the science of things of this sort. It only takes a vehicle going 20 miles an hour to jack you up.
Yeah.
Like I'm talking about fatally jack you up. Like that's why school zones are set up the way they are. Because if you get hit at 20 miles an hour, you're pretty jacked up.
Yeah.
Anything past 20,
a lot.
You out of there. Like you out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah. You are going to the upper room.
Speaking from experience, it hurts a lot. Trust me. I had to ride bikes to school. I had to walk to school, and I've met my fair share of the front of people's cars.
I hit a couple parked cars in the hood, but that's when we was playing football. I was running on that go route, and I wasn't paying attention. You know what I'm saying? I smacked. That parked car hurt.
Yeah, it hurts a lot.
Yeah. So let me get to this is kind of like the main point of the show. Not the main point of the show, but one of the main topics of the show today. My brother Odell Beckham Jr. We talked about Baltimore. Signed a 1-year, $15 million deal with incentives that can get up to $19 million to go to Baltimore. Find it kind of crazy that he was signed with Baltimore, not knowing what Lamar is going to do. So I feel like either A, he kind of had an inside track that Lamar would be coming back, or he didn't give a fuck about Lamar Jackson. He said, "Y'all are gonna pay me $15 million. That's where I'm playing."
I can kind of see both. I can kind of see both. I can kind of see him like, hey, I got two teams that I'm kind of toggling right now, right? I got the Jets on one line. I got the Ravens on the other line. Now, the Ravens, if they saying they're going to pay me, and I potentially get to play with the homie. The Jets, on the other hand, they said they're going to pay me. But I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is going to be there or not. So I think he called Lamar and was like, "Hey, bro, what you trying to do, gang? Because like I got him on hold, bro. My agent got him on hold. I'm trying to see what's popping. What you trying to do?" I think Lamar is like, if you can move some monies around, we might be able to. You feel me? So honestly, I think it kind of went into both. I think he was kind of thinking like, shoot, they gonna pay me, and I get to play with the homie for a year or 2 years.
And I also think if he signs with the Jets, at best, Odell's the second receiver. At best, he's the second wide receiver. He goes to Baltimore, he's the clear-cut number one.
Is it bad that I wanted him to go to the Jets because I feel like it was a better situation for him?
That was my thought problem. I wanted it because of the situation was better, but then when Mel said it, and I thought about it, I was like, maybe he just really, this was one of his only chances to truly go back to being the number one guy. Because even with the Rams, he wasn't the number one guy.
Right.
Yeah, but
so it's like
even with the Rams, that was a great situation for him because he's not a number one guy anymore.
Arguably, still would have probably been the number two because I think Garrett Wilson has carved that role out as the number one.
Yeah, and I just think it's a better situation.
Him and Deb, but then you remember they signed Alan Lazard. You still
Mhm.
got they got another veteran that's over there. Like that's a deep
They
receiving core.
they have
So
a
the
deep
targets,
receiving core.
yeah. So I don't think there would have been enough targets for him, and I think that was another factor. I don't think there was enough targets for Odell to go around.
No, not at all. Not there.
I
And he wouldn't have been Aaron Rodgers if Aaron Rodgers does go there. That's not his, he's not going to be Aaron Rodgers' first choice when he's dropping back.
I think he's more of his second, third choice, but I think that works for him, right? Because when it comes to Odell, you want to preserve him for just looking at his injury history. You want to preserve him for as long as you can, right? He's
But
still
on that
kind of
team,
a big play
doesn't he?
receiver that you can use in kind of spots, right? So when
Doesn't
you look,
Odell still draw the number one cornerback on the opposite team though?
I would say yeah, but then even then that still opens up the offense something crazy because now you have your Garrett Wilsons and you have all these other guys that are freed up. And if they want to
Yeah.
put their
So if
number one on them,
yeah,
then you have
But that's what
your
I.
Odell freed up.
if Odell draws
But
the
that's
number
what.
one, Garrett Wilson is a 1,500-yard receiver.
But then, like, that's the thing. It's like the same situation happens in Baltimore, but he still gets the ball in Baltimore. That situation happens in New Jersey. He doesn't get the ball. He's just a fucking decoy most of the time.
Mm, I wouldn't necessarily say that because you have people focusing on more of Garrett Wilson because you have to take him as a threat. You can't take him lightly, right? We've seen how he operates. We've seen how he plays. So once you have to focus on you have to take away that main threat. You have to take away that number one. Now, depending on who your number two is, whether that's Lazard, whether
Yeah,
that's
you got Lazard.
Cobb
You got
or
Cobb.
the
Corey was
other,
it Wilson?
I think is it
Not
Corey
the other
Wilson or is it
Wilson.
Corey Davis?
Corey Davis. Corey
Corey
Davis.
Davis.
Corey Davis.
Corey
Yeah,
Davis.
Whether it's Corey
they
Davis,
traded the other one. They traded the young
Elijah
unhappy
Moore.
receiver.
Elijah Moore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Elijah Moore's playing with Cleveland now.
hmm So yeah, so it would be Corey Davis. So there's not that many DBs that can go around. You got to double somebody.
Yeah,
Who you gonna double?
Right.
and you also just like we talked about Garrett Wilson, you can't sleep on Alan Lazard either.
Yeah. Who you gonna double? Who
Like
you
like
gonna who?
Alan
Who are
Lazard
you?
is turning into a really 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 good receiver in this league.
Yeah. And it's
Like
like as a coordinator, who are you gonna go in there and be like, yeah, we're gonna take this guy away, and none of these other guys are gonna beat us. No, you're wrong. All those other guys can beat you. That's the problem. That's the reason why I felt like it would have been a slightly better situation if he went to the Jets because if he goes to the Ravens, he's gonna see more doubles. He's gonna see a lot more attention, and that's gonna put a lot more tension on his body to the point where that's my main question: are you gonna last all season, bro? Like, I need to
I
know.
think he'll be all right.
But this is the thing that I forgot. Right? If they can get the young boy Rashad Bateman back healthy, like I'm talking about healthy to the point where he's starting to
Well, yeah,
build on.
I think he's ready to go now. I think he was
Yeah,
ready to
like
go. Yeah.
and you know the difference between coming in healthy and or coming in trying to play catch up and coming in healthy and just working on your regimen and
Mhm.
stuff like that. So that's basically what I mean. Like if they can get him up to football speed earlier than most people would see because he's coming back from injury. And now you're adding an Odell, right? You have a Donovan Robertson, you have an Elvis Duvernay, right? Now you have these pieces. You have the ones that can break the field wide open down the field, and you have your intermediate short routes. So now you have a recipe for success. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And that's what we've been talking about the whole time. It's like that's really all you needed was just that one guy that can just kind of not blow,
I think,
break the game open, but just kind of move the needle a
but
little bit.
I think Odell in Baltimore, he becomes a different receiver. He becomes the chain mover. He's the
Yeah,
guy that goes and gets you the 12 yards and just he moves the chains.
yeah. He's
You
he's
let
the needle
Bateman,
mover.
yeah, you let Bateman and Duvernay do all that shit downfield. Like you just
hmm
let them take the top off the defense.
Yeah, he's your needle mover, and that I kind of forgot that when I was looking at both situations. Right, I was looking at the Jets, I'm looking at the Ravens. I'm like, damn, it seems like he's probably going to get a lot more attention at the Ravens, but I forgot. You got Rashad Bateman, you got a Donovan Robinson, you got a Duvernay, you got these guys that can fly, right? And you have
Mhm.
you have some really good backs, right? So it's like, dang, actually, he's in a pretty solid situation because now when you look at it, you got your Mark Andrews, you got your speed receivers, you got your intermediates, your short routes. Now you can attack from all facets. Okay, for sure. Now he's the proverbial needle mover, and you don't need him
Hmm.
to do the absolute most to where you can save him. So we're now in the playoffs. He looks like your superstar number one guy when
Yeah,
the whole time he's really your
he
number three.
he's the dude. He's the guy. He's going to get 8 to 12 catches a game. He may not. He'll break one or two. He'll end up with 130 yards, 2 touchdowns or a touchdown. But a lot of his shit is going. He won't average the 16 yards per catch that he used to do.
We got
He'll
Zamara
be
in chat.
around.
What's up, Zamara?
He'll be around 11, 12 per catch,
Oh yeah,
and
I would
and
say so too.
that'll be better for him.
I would say so
All
too.
right, we got to start.
That's,
We got to start flying through this. Speaking of more free agency moves, Jeff Okuda, the Detroit Lions made a trade, send Jeff Okuda to the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons are trying to play football next year
yeah, I was gonna say the Falcons seem like they're trying to actually compete. I like it. Shoot, finally. Um, I think I
because
think I think they're talking a big game, but I still think they're still in the market to entice Lamar to come. Honestly, I
they
just
did a
think they're
quarter. Yeah,
trying to.
no,
I think they're
they
trying to
still
build and then they will come type deal.
need a quarterback. Kansas City stole yet another Giants wide receiver in Richie James. I don't know what they see in Giant wide receivers that the Giants don't see in their wide receivers, but they took another one.
I don't understand what the Giants are doing with their receivers that come on the scene and show them that hey, I want to be here. I'm a good, I'm a great receiver. If you develop me, I can go far for you. The Giants is just like, nah, fuck you, you're out.
You're out of here. Um, you want to? We're gonna speed through a lot of this towards the
Stop
end
giving the
because I want
Chiefs picks, bro. Goodness gracious, stop giving these freaking
and I want to
players,
get to.
man.
I don't know what the Raiders were doing trying to trade Hunter Renfro to the Texans. Like that was stupid. Like what?
I,
I don't know what Josh McDaniels is trying to do.
I, hey, like I said, I'm officially a football fan at the moment, right? I I am protesting the Raiders until they show me that they deserve my fandom, okay? But at this moment, I am a football fan, strictly football, okay? I am not a fan of the Raiders because they don't deserve my fandom, okay?
All right. So I was going to get into the XFL games was kind of crazy. The
It,
I
it,
like their I like their overtime rule. I didn't know about their overtime rule until I started watching the game. I like the 3 possessions. That shit is fire. Of course, the Vegas choked it up twice, like idiots they are. This is what we do. This is what Vegas does. Vegas football is not successful for whatever reason. It sucks. Um,
unfortunately, that's what it is.
yeah. Now we're gonna end this on my trivia. I worked real hard on this one. Worked real hard on the trivia today. GQ's in the car, so I'm gonna need you to pay attention to this one. We like to talk about the Triple Crown when we talk about the NFL. Um, do you know how many wide receivers have won the Triple Crown?
I think it was a 4 or 5.
That's what I thought. No, there's one dude who won it 5 times by himself.
Hmm. I know I looked this up a long time ago. Long time ago.
Yeah, you're not gonna get none of them. I'm gonna tell you that right now. So the last one, I'm only doing this to lead in. I was gonna have y'all name them, but we ain't got no time for all that. So the last one was Cooper Cup, Steve Smith
Yeah.
before that,
Sneak Smith, he won one. I know that.
Sterling Sharp before that,
Yeah.
Jerry Rice,
Yeah.
Lance Allworth. People, if y'all don't know about Lance Allworth, I need y'all to do y'all homework. One of my favorite wide receivers of all time. Dave Parks, Johnny Morris,
Johnny
Raymond
Moore.
Berry,
Oh,
Pete P host, I don't know who that is, Elroy Hirsch. Don Hudson won it five
Don
times.
Hudson. Mm-hmm.
He won it 5 times. Ray Flattery was the first one. So, with all of that, do you know how many quarterbacks had multiple Triple Crown wide receivers?
Had multiple triple crown wide receivers.
Damn.
Let
Which
me
quarterback
see.
most Triple Crown receivers? I'm gonna go out on a limb, and how did I forget his name that quick? I just had his name in my head. How did I forget his name? Kurt Warner. Sorry.
No, not Kurt Warner.
Okay.
Kurt Warner, no.
No.
I imagine he would have got a couple just from the Greatest Show on Turf. That was why my thought process went there.
And when I say
No.
okay, when I say multiple, it's like he's done it with different. He's done it with multiple wide receivers, or the same wide receiver more than once.
Was it Peyton Manning?
Nope.
Mm-mm.
This is a crazy. This is why I said this is a crazy list. And I got another one to go on top. On top of that,
Please don't
there's
say
only
that.
two quarterbacks. There's
Please
only
don't.
two quarterbacks.
Was it Dan Marino?
Nope.
All right, I'm just trying to. I'm throwing
One
out
of them was the Packers quarterback of old. I just can't think of his name.
Bart Starr.
I'll give it to you. You're right. It is Cecil Isabel. He had it. He did it with the same wide receiver 4 times
Isabel from the. Is he from the '60s?
from the Packers. Yeah, the 40s.
The
I was gonna
'40s.
say for the 40s.
Way before. That's
Yeah,
Mooley's heyday.
Mullers know about that because Mullers was playing football around that time.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
you know what I'm saying with the letterheads, man.
been doing it since the '50s. You know, that's your heyday right there, the '40s.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
And the other one,
That's my time zone. That's my era.
and the other one is more recent, actually, real recent.
Is it Matthew Stafford?
I was gonna say Matthew Stafford.
Matthew Stafford did it twice. Cooper Cup and Calvin Johnson.
Calvin Johnson.
Damn.
Okay, now this is the real part of the trivia because this one was different. Do you know there was a quarterback triple crown in the NFL where the triple crown for the quarterback is yards, passer rating, and touchdowns?
Yep. That's what it is. Thank you.
So I'll just ask, do you know who was the last quarterback to achieve such feat?
Is it a quarterback in the 2000s to now era?
Yes.
My first guess.
Only
All right, I'm gonna
one,
say
two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's been done 10 times. One quarterback has done it twice.
all right. Is Donovan McNabb one of them?
Hell no.
I just wanted to throw it out there. I'm thinking about former Commanders quarterbacks. McNabb was one.
Right.
Peyton Manning.
That is a good guess, but no.
I know he came
Never
close with
done
that 55 year.
But he didn't lead the league in passer
I was gonna
rating.
say he didn't lead the league in passing ratings that year. That was the only problem. I think it was Aaron Rodgers that year. Either Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady.
It wasn't Philip Rivers, was it?
Definitely wasn't Philip Rivers. This is nuts. Like y'all got me in my trivia bag, so I like doing this shit now. I spent like 2 days doing this shit.
You spent 2 days looking for these quarterbacks?
Yep.
Oh shit.
And I'm gonna tell you this, y'all not gonna get most of it by no means whatsoever. No means whatsoever. Okay, I'll do this. I'll give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm gonna give you 6. Y'all gonna have to get the last 3. So you got Ed, what's his name? Bromowski from way back in the day. Ernie Hoover, way back in the day. Cecil Isabel. Stanley Barr did it twice.
Sammy Ball was one of my picks.
Otto Graham and John Brody. There are 3 modern day quarterbacks left on that list.
Dan Marino.
No Dan Marino.
Damn, he was accurate as shit too. Steve Young?
Nope, no Steve Young.
Joe Montana.
No Montana.
Word.
That's
crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Tom Brady. I'm gonna throw that out there.
Tom Brady is second.
I figured because one of his MVP years, he was the most accurate.
Was it Russell Wilson?
No, Russell Wilson.
Drew Brees?
Drew Brees. He was the last person to do it.
Okay, that makes sense. Drew Brees. That makes sense. Him being the last one to do it.
Aaron Rodgers.
Nope.
Random quarterback out there from that era.
Huh?
I said Jake Delhomme. I'm throwing a random name out there.
He ain't never led the league in nothing.
Chad Pennington.
Why would you pull Chad Pennington out? That's crazy.
Because I'm going into the bag now. I'm going deep in my bag today.
Hey, you got to go deep in the bag to get this last one. That's why.
You got to go deep in your bag. Fuck around with
it's really not that deep in the bag. You actually mentioned it before.
It wasn't.
Donovan McNabb.
Not Patrick Mahomes, is it?
Nope, not Mahomes.
Because I'm saying
Donovan McNabb.
Yeah, I don't think he was in the discussion anytime.
Nope. No Mahomes.
McNabb. We're gonna go McNabb.
I already named McNabb.
No, man.
Did you? Damn.
What Mel would do.
Greatest show on turf.
Kurt Warner. Fuck, I'm freaking. Yeah. Oh my God.
Kurt Warner.
I knew it.
Kurt Warner. Yeah, I totally forgot there was a triple crown for quarterbacks.
Damn. I guess Kurt Warner.
Yeah, because the greatest show on turf. I
should have saved my Kurt Warner. He was the wrong segment.
There's another one for running backs too, but I'll get to that one later.
Oh yeah, you already know. I got a little trivia. I'm finna send you. I'm finna send you during the week next week. You know what I'm saying? See if you can bust that down for me one time.
All right. As you can see, the fellas, we all got to get scrambling like eggs out of here. Any last words, fellas?
I'm gonna go ahead and take this time to shout out to the comments. Shout out to the chat. Your GOAT. We had Zamara in the chat. Mike Morrow in the chat. Shout out to our Spotify listeners, iHeartRadio listeners, Apple listeners, Google listeners. Shout out to everybody that's been rocking with us lately. We got all of our shows coming up. We got the Gentleman's Podcast Talk. We got the Monday Basketball Show. Today's Friday show. Obviously, Thursday show is the tomorrow show. We're doing some great things around here. I see the views are starting to pick up. Likes are starting to pick up. We're starting to have more traction in the comments. Keep rocking with us, y'all. I'm telling y'all, we going up all 2023, all 2024, and it's just going to be crazy. Appreciate y'all, man.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Like it's supposed to be. I'm going to keep it simple and straight to the point, ladies and gentlemen. If you ain't rocking with us, you ain't doing it the right way. From the sidelines, it's coming for you.
No.
We're going to be here. Y'all be looking at it for next week on Gentleman's Talk. We got From the Sideline Chronicles Chapter 3. We're going to have the homie Mel in the building. We're going to peel back the curtain so y'all get a further and a much better understanding of the man behind the black hat from the great spot over there in good old Vegas. Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be live next week. Bring your drinks, pull up a good, comfortable chair, and sit back for a great ride.
Yes, sir. Yes, thank you, everybody, for tuning in on YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you are listening. We appreciate it. If you are a continuous watcher, we appreciate your. What is this? Shout out to your GOAT. We got to figure out a way to get him on the show at some point in time.
Show Monday.
Say he was just on a basketball show Monday.
Oh, he was on the basketball show.
Your GOAT.
Okay.
I got to go to work, but I'm gaming all night after I get off work. Big dog, hit me.
Yeah, he gonna do a wrestling segment with us too on for when we get ready to do the WrestleMania Backlash too. So
dope. All right, like I said, we appreciate everybody for coming through, stopping through. Tell a friend, tell a friend. Check out everybody's socials, Mr. GQ on TikTok and on the YouTube and Gentleman's Talk, Moolage, at Instagram, TikTok, wherever his ass is at. Find me arguing with LeBron fans on TikTok. That's what I do. Holla at me. We here. Troy, hit the